Hey guys, it's Bro You Whack, and we got a very exciting video for you guys, even though every video should be exciting, but this one especially because a lot of players in Overwatch are DPS players, and as you guys probably know, DPS queues are the worst things of all time. Like, these things last longer than me in bed. That's not saying much, because that's about 20 seconds, but you get what I'm trying to say. So Jeff Kaplan, the daddy of Overwatch himself, just took to the Overwatch forums and just released a statement of what him and the Overwatch team have been playtesting for the past couple of months. Ever since December, they implemented this idea at just the Blizzard offices of this 3-2-1 composition. 3 DPS, 2 healers, and 1 tank. Now, the main reason for them play testing this idea, which by the way isn't even on PTR right now, so don't get scared that this might be the new thing that's gonna go onto live servers, but the main reason why they want to test this quote-unquote possible feature out is to speed up queue times, because like I said at the beginning of the video, DPS queue times are the worst things ever, and you might just say, well, why don't DPS players just play tank or support? Because how would you like it if, say, someone like me, well, that's a DPS player, were to queue up for support and then I get on your team? You wouldn't like that because we all know I'm bad at support. I've been saying this time and time again, and my rank speaks for itself. And plus, most people like to play DPS heroes because that's where the largest amount of heroes are, so more than likely you identify or you just really like a hero from the DPS category because it's a large percentage of the hero roster. So that means a lot more people are wanting to queue up for DPS. Not only that, but they also don't have to fear of whether they're good or bad at DPS because they're gonna play at the rank that they deserve to be at. And what that causes is this term called oversaturation, where there's gonna be a large sum of players queuing up for DPS and very few or possibly even no players queuing up for tank and support. And that's definitely apparent the later that you play, no matter the rank, or the higher / lower that you get in the ranks, because there's less people in the bronze and grand and top 500 ranks. So to not only compensate for the large amount of players that are queuing up for damage, but the low amount of players that are queuing up for tank, they decide to replace that extra tank slot for a damage slot. And to not only mine, but also the Overwatch's team's surprise, they kind of like the feeling of this composition. Now, that's not to say that 3-2-1 doesn't have its own problems, because it definitely does. The main issue that I'm sure you can already tell is that bigger emphasis on that solo tanking spot. Even right now in 2-2-2, playing Orisa and Sigma or playing the quote-unquote right tanks are important, but now that you only have 1 tank spot, it's even a bigger emphasis to play a specific tank, more importantly, the main tank. You need a shield. Even with the shield nerfs, a shield is just still important, especially when you have 3 DPS on the field with this playtesting strategy. So you're gonna be seeing a lot more Reinhardts or Sigmas, but mainly Reinhardt. So with this 3-2-1 type composition, I can already tell that Reinhardt would be the only tank that you should be playing, which means that the off tanks like D.Va, Zarya, and ROADHOG, especially ROADHOG, are going to be pushed to the side because they're not important enough to fill that solo tank spot because you need the shield. So of course, Jeff, being Jeff and coming up with his crazy ideas, said that they thought, okay, don't freak out when I say this, he even said not to freak out, but they thought about changing ROADHOG to the damage dealing spot. And they did. And they did do that in the playtesting that they've been doing at the Blizzard offices. So what he said was that if you were to play their build of Overwatch right now, ROADHOG would have 400 HP, his Take a Breather would do less heals to himself, and he would be a damage dealing hero. And the reason for that is that that's the wrong tank to play in that solo tank spot. You need the Reinhardts, you need the Sigma or possibly Orisa. You can't play an off tank because that's not quote unquote correct. Now obviously I'll link the whole entire forum post in the description of this video, but that was just the main problem with this kind of 3-2-1 composition. Obviously there were some tiny cons like with support players because they felt bad once the only tank died because there is only 1 tank, but they actually felt like the support players had a little bit more to do with the game rather than just healing these big beefy tanks. And obviously DPS heroes are fine with it because there's another DPS slot, which means you can find games a whole lot faster, which we all know, not even just Grandmaster or Master players, but we've all experienced from time to time. But now here is the question. Disregarding the idea of ROADHOG possibly being a future DPS hero, would we want this kind of composition to be the main way that we play Overwatch? 3 DPS, 2 support heroes and 1 tank. I want you guys to comment down below if you would want this in the game, and also give a reason as to why you would want it in the game. And for all the people that don't want this kind of composition in the game, obviously still give your reasons, but a reason that you might give is that this isn't Overwatch, you're supposed to have 2 tanks, that's how it was since day 1, and Jeff actually wants to stop you right there, because when they played with this kind of composition, it felt like old school Overwatch. If you remember before the GOATS composition, you usually always just played with 1 tank, because nobody wanted to play tank and support. It was really just trying to force someone onto support because you always needed heals. Like, that's just how you play Overwatch. You always need a tank? Well, some could say that you always need a shield, but then that's not really needed in tank. That's just needing a shield. For me personally, I like the idea of a 3-2-1 composition because it solves the issue that I have, and the only issue that I have with 2-2-2, which is long queue times. I love the idea of 2-2-2 because not only does it relieve my anxiety of needing to be flexible onto heroes that I might not be good on, but it also forces people to play with the team. Because if you don't realize this, people in Overwatch can be boneheads sometimes. They don't want to work with the team because I don't know why, I just don't. 2-2-2 fixes the bonehead players. 3-2-1 not only maybe could fix the long queue times, because maybe even after this, more people will want to play DPS, but it also gives a different feel of Overwatch because now there's more DPS players, which means there's a lot more action, whereas beforehand, tanks and support just kind of work together to have this stalemate, and that wasn't always fun. But let me know what you guys think. So I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. More Overwatch videos to come, and bye.